Casey Campbell here with Great Lakes Post, and we are pleased to be joined by the Chief Marketing Officer and PR Director of Ally Financial, Andrea Brimmer. Andrea, how are you?
I'm great, Casey. How are you doing? It's so good to see you.
Good to see you as well. Of course, we are here at the Ally Challenge. Of course, it's a big event for not just Ally, but for this community. All the partners that you've done with, the partnership with McLaren Health and all the things that you do for Genesee County. Of course, you're from this area. You live in this area. So talk about the partnership you have with this tournament.
Well, it's near and dear, obviously, to my heart, but also, I think more importantly, to everybody at Ally. It's become a foundational program for us, this tournament. The ability to give so much back to the local community. $3.4 million raised so far in 3 years of this tournament for local charities, adding things like the Genesee County Animal Shelter this year, which is awesome as one of the charities, and just being able to see the pride that this community has around this tournament it's incredible. It's going to be one of those things that in the history of my career I'll always remember.
You talk about being part of the PGA Tour Champions, and 4 years ago as you kind of started to make your name into the sports world. This is kind of one of the big first events that you kind of put on. What was important about why you wanted to do this? And I know that I think the event is through 2025, I want to say.
Yeah, 2025. This is our fourth year this year of the tournament. And, we wanted to get into golf. It's a great audience for us, and aligns really well with our target audience. And the Champions Tour, we thought was a perfect way to get in. It doesn't have the I think the size and the scale of a regular tour, but that was perfect for us. And we've become one of the premier tour stops, which is awesome. When you got a guy like Jim Furyk calling other players saying you got to go to the Ally Challenge, that's a pretty strong testament for what this tournament has become. 2 years ago, we won the President's Cup for the PGA for our tournament sales, which was awesome. And we love seeing the way that the community's come out and made this one of the best stops on the tour.
Okay, well, I gotta ask you some. This is a great tournament as well, but I also gotta ask you about some NASCAR stuff. Of course,
you're a NASCAR fan, Case. I know.
I cover the sport and stuff, and actually a couple things with that. Of course, Alex Bowman, of course, the new driver for this year. Of course, you extended the contract with him through 23. Also, when your contract is up with Hendrick Motorsports as well. How, Alex? I know you and Alex kind of bonded through things and with that and talk about some of the partnerships that you two have had, especially with donations to local animal shelters, which also you're going to do this weekend as well.
We are. Alex is awesome. I absolutely love Alex. I love him both professionally as a driver, but as a person. He's wicked funny. He's an incredible driver. I remember, when Jimmy was announcing that he was retiring, and Rick Hendrick and I spent a lot of time on the phone trying to figure out who's going to be the next driver of the 48. And from day one, Rick said, Alex, Alex, Alex. And I always said to him, why do you think Alex? And he said he's one of the best wheelmen I've ever seen. And the kid is talented. 3 victories so far this year. And what we wanted to do with Alex is show him that we had incredible faith in him. It was a big part of the reason why I wanted to extend the contract. But just let him be himself. I think when he was driving the 88, I think there was a lot of pressure on him to be Dale Jr. We didn't want him to come into the 48 and be Jimmy Johnson. We wanted him to come into the 48 and be Alex Bowman. And I think just by freeing him and letting him do that, you see the performance on the track.
Of course. There's a lot of my NASCAR friends and a lot of fans have, talked about, they know Alex, they know Ally, but they also know you. You've been one of the most active CMOs in NASCAR, and they were like, it's like, not a lot of CMOs, are active about, the sport and all that stuff. You're out there, you're excited, you're watching every race. Are you surprised by the reaction with that and all that stuff?
Yeah, it does surprise me that, maybe other CMOs are equally as passionate, they just don't put it out there, but that's me. I'm like, I wear my heart on my sleeve. With the things that I'm passionate about, I throw myself into. I've always loved racing. Prior to being at Ally, I was on the agency side for Chevrolet for many years. NASCAR all reported in through me. And so it's been a blast for me. I go to a ton of races. My whole family's into it. My husband, my kids, we love it. And Rick Hendrick has become family. And watching what Hendrick Motorsports this year has done is incredible. And I love the energy of the fans. I love when the fans interact with me. I have a blast with them on Twitter. And it's really fun for me to just be all in. And I don't know any other way, and I don't think Ally does either.
You talk about, I know you had the Ally 400 in Nashville, and you were, I think it was an interview you did with MRN, and something really kind of stuck out with me when you did that. You called Ally a very disruptive sponsor. I had to ask Stefan behind me about what that means. It's pushing the issue.
It is.
Talk about that, and what is Ally's approach to marketing from a standpoint of that?
You know, I think that when we came into the sport, we wanted to do things that no other sponsors were thinking about doing. And we've done that in so many ways. We've done it, you know, I look at Alex and making a donation every time we go into a city to Best Friends Animal Shelters, sponsoring Alex dirt racing team. You know, we've come in with this philosophy of being an ally to the fans and creating these incredible fan experiences. At the Ally 400, we had the opportunity for you as a fan to make your own driver intro video, and you could push it out in social media, and they got to walk out on a stage and throw t-shirts out to the people that were standing there. Just doing those kinds of things, having fun, reminding people that it's fun and this is why you're out there. And then really, you know, just finding the right ways for our brand to push the conversation, whether it's diversity issues. You know, we've created this really strong relationship with Bernard Pollock.
Pollard.
Yeah, Bernard Pollard, I'm sorry. Why did you say Pollock? Bringing him in and having him be a part of the sport.
Yeah.
Really pushing on LGBTQ, having Alex run a Pride sticker,
Yeah.
having Lefty design Jimmy's car.
Michigan native.
Exactly. All of those kinds of things. And you know, I've reached out and talked a lot with NASCAR about wanting to be on the Diversity Council and being a big part of that and doing things so that you can ensure that NASCAR is a welcoming environment, that everybody feels welcome there. And I think that's a big part of what NASCAR wants to do as well.
Yeah, how have you? And we've kind of seen that last year with Bubba Wallace and all that, and kind of seeing that as a company perspective, as someone that wants to be in the sport. What have you seen in terms of that? Because, you know, from what I've seen and watched as time is, you know, NASCAR's always accepted me as a reporter. But what are talking about just for all kinds of people to be welcomed into the sport? How do you feel like they're doing with that?
I think NASCAR's got a huge focus on it. I think they're doing all the right things, forming a diversity council, the way that Bubba has had such a strong and loud voice in it. There's a young man by the name of Devin Rouse that is the first LGBTQ driver that has come out. And I actually reached out to him, and he and I have talked multiple times. I think that all of these, the way Jimmy is such a supporter, the way all the drivers came behind Bubba. I think that there is a very disciplined approach to wanting to create a different environment and a deep desire for NASCAR to broaden their appeal and to make sure that everybody knows that they're welcome. And I think they're doing a great job and doing all the right things.
Last question for you. I know with the Ally 400 in Nashville Superspeedway, and we know we talked about the Nashville area. How important of a market is that to Ally, and what made you kind of decide that, okay, Nashville Superspeedway, that's where we want to be, that's where we want to sponsor our race?
Well, first of all, that race was a blast. It was
Yep.
the first sold-out race of the season.
Yep.
It was incredible. And we love Eric Moses and the folks from Dover. That organization is incredible. We've had a great relationship with them. In fact, you would be jealous, Casey, because if you come to my office, you know, Rick sent me the trophy from Dover when Alex won, so I got Miles, full-size Miles with the Ally 48 in his hand. So NASCAR was an opportunity for us to get an entitled race, and we jumped at it. It fit all the marks. Great city, disruptive, fun, gives you a great opportunity to do something broader than just the race. We had that huge concert with Thomas Rhett on Friday night, which was a blast down there. And we're only just beginning. And Eric Moses is a really talented president, huge focus on diversity. I think you're going to see a huge push from us next year when we have more time to plan with Eric around some special things around diversity as well, which will be great.
Of course. Well, Andrea Brimmer, thank you for talking with us today about a number of topics, including the Ally Challenge and, of course, NASCAR. And, of course, thanks for all the support that you've given us over the years.
You got it, Casey. It's great being with you guys, and appreciate you guys being out here.